Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Elite CEO Show. I am your host, Shayla Gray, and my goal with this podcast is to bring you the most elite information, training, and conversation in the entire world. How will I make that happen? And why should you listen to me? Simple, you shouldn't. But my job is to bring on everyone that you should be listening to. That way you're both entertained and educated on the best ways to grow your profitable business. Every episode, I will be speaking to experts in the fields of marketing, fulfillment, sales, and more. My promise to you is that every episode, I will be bringing an elite lineup of CEOs that will blow your mind. Now, for today's episode, up first, we have Ben Sturdivant, the COO and CMO of Elite CEOs. He has prepared a live training for us on how to improve conversions by creating an irresistible offer. I've spoken for too long now. Ben, take us away.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mastering Marketing. My name is Ben Sturdivant. I am the Chief Operating and Chief Marketing Officer with Elite CEOs. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about how to improve conversions. And really, this pertains more towards your offer. And I want to dive right in because I have a lot I want to talk about. And I want to make sure that I cover everything for you today. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about, obviously, is guarantees. This is probably the easiest way to improve your offer and to get your offer or to get people to make decisions faster. And we've messed around with lots of different types of guarantees at Elite CEOs. There are basically two different types. You've got unconditional, where it's just 100% money back guarantee. I'm going to caution you on this one unless you have lots and lots of proven results. Meaning if you've got a system that you've replicated over and over and over again, and you've proven it to work, then it can be very effective, okay? Because it's hard to argue with a money back guarantee, okay? Now, for those of you who are in the high ticket space, that's what we specialize with in Elite CEOs. You also have to be careful because if you don't have a lot of money in the bank, it's going to be difficult for you to do this. So if you have a 3K, 5K, 10K, 15, 20, 40K offer, you better you better hold true to that and make sure that you have some money set aside to cover that. Because regardless of how proven your offer is, you're going to get people who don't follow through, don't try, that honestly just take it because they're going to eventually want to request their money back. It's just some people are like that. We have had thousands and thousands of coaches, consultants, businesses go through our mastermind and had thousands and thousands of amazing results. But we will get some people who just, they don't want to listen. They're not coachable. They're not willing to go through what we teach them. So that's why we don't offer an unconditional guarantee. We offer a conditional guarantee. The conditional guarantee basically says, hey, if you do what we tell you, if you do this, this, and this, and we lay out very specifically, what you need to do in order to satisfy the requirements, so to speak, we guarantee that you'll get results. And we can do that because we know all of the people who have been through our program who follow those steps and do those things that we suggest that they do, they have the results that they're looking for. They achieve the success that they're after. So that's the one that I recommend you work with, especially if you're just starting out. If you're doing low ticket, we do 100% money back guarantee with all of our low ticket products. $7 to $97, somewhere in that range. If you have a low ticket sort of lead magnet, you can offer 100% unconditional. We do that with all of those. We have some mid ticket prices, in the $497 to $997 range with some of our courses, where we do it's an unconditional, but it's a consumption guarantee. And we do this to protect our content. So in other words, we don't want people coming in, consuming everything just to steal our content and then getting their money back. That's not fair to us. So what we do is we do a 25% rule for our lower or mid ticket type products. We say, if you consume less than 25%, then, and it's, within 30 days, we'll give you your money back. Because maybe some people, they start the program and, the course or whatever, and they don't like it and it's not what they were looking for. That's fine. We don't need their money. We want to help people. So we're more than happy to give them all of their money back. Okay. Without really having to satisfy any kind of requirements like the conditional guarantee that we have for a high ticket offer. So, but guarantees can be very effective. I would build these into your VSL. And in fact, all of these really pertain to putting this content into your offer, into your VSLs, your video sales letters. So if someone is, you're messaging with someone, you're advertising to people, they're opting into something, you've got them on a page, you help solve some kind of problem, and now you want to pitch your offer. You go through the value of your offer, but then what you do is you throw in these additional things that are going to help you boost your conversions. That's what we're talking about today. So obviously, offering in a guarantee, so you go through your offer and you get to that stage and you say, look, and just so you can, rest easy, we have a conditional guarantee, or we have a, unconditional guarantee that if you follow our steps, you're going to be successful. You don't have to worry about that, right? So you build it into your pitch. Okay. So the second one is bonuses, and bonuses are very easy, but I think people get tripped up by this because they think, well, God, I put all this stuff in my offer. I don't know what else to do. So what I recommend doing is what I call splintering. Splintering is where you just basically take pieces of your offer and then you turn it into a bonus. And this is not to manipulate. This is to bring value to what are some really important things in your offer. People are funny. They tend to focus more and give more value to the bonuses. So bring more value to them. Your bonuses really should be the most important components of your offer that really, really help people and really solve those problems so that they can see that they're getting that value. So, you can have your main, pillars of your offer, but then you throw in there, and as a bonus, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this. And that brings me to bonus stacking. And I'm going to show you how to do this in a way that is not cheesy. It's professional, but it accomplishes a really important thing in your presentations when you're presenting to your leads. So bonus stacking is, hey, the first thing that I'm going to give you is bonus number one. And then, then you talk about, and you have some information on the slide of what you're going to give you, right? And then the next slide is you've got bonus one. Then you say, the next thing I'm going to give you is bonus two. And then you talk about what's in bonus two, right? And then the next slide is bonus. You've got bonus one, you've got bonus two, and then you put on bonus three, and then you talk about, on that slide, you've got some information about what bonus three is. And you do this for however many bonuses you can give. And in each one of these, you're also providing value. There should be, it's worth this, and it's worth this. Right? And this is worth this, this is worth this, and this is worth this. And then at the end of it, you should total up that value. And you don't need to, to talk about the price of your offer in your VSL, right? If you're 3K, 5K, 10K, whatever, you don't need to talk about that, and you really shouldn't. Okay. If you're doing lower tier stuff, yes, this can really apply to it. But you can say, look, I'm going to give you the guarantee, and I'm going to give you all of these bonuses worth thousands of dollars. You have nothing to fear by just booking a call, scheduling a call. Okay. So that's bonus stacking. All right. Then the next thing you can do is scarcity. Scarcity is also a really easy thing to do. And there's a few different types. First of all, you've got price goes up. Right. Okay. So, hey, at the end of this month, and you can kind of bring in seasonal scarcity as with this too, we're coming upon the holidays here. So we might do, hey, we're doing a Halloween special, or we're doing a Labor Day special, or a back to school special, or a holiday special, or a New Year special. Right. So you can do all of these things and function in or build in scarcity around seasonality. And you can say, hey, the price is going to go up, or the bonuses are going to go away, or this certain offer is going to go away, and be genuine with this. I hate fake scarcity. I hate people who say, I'm going to take this away, and then they don't, right? And it's there the next month, right? Now you can continue on and run promotions if it works well. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's genuine. You want to be genuine. You want to be authentic with your bonuses. So if you don't know what to offer, if you're not really sure, what scarcity to take away, add something to your offer. that puts a little bit more, maybe requires a little bit more input on your part in terms of time. Maybe it's a free call, with you, an extra call. We sometimes will do things like an extra month in our mastermind. And, that bonus that goes away. We will sometimes do that, for certain times of the year, and then it genuinely goes away. We do not offer that to everyone. Okay. So that's an example. So it could be extra time in your program. It could be extra features. Maybe, if you're in the weight loss space, maybe you don't give a meal plan as part of your offer, but maybe this month you're going to for that. Right. So look at some of your lead magnets, look at some of the things that you're using to bring in leads, and maybe consider giving that as a bonus that goes away. Okay. So if you're worried about trying to come up with a bonus, don't be, right? It can be fun. Okay. So there you go. Those are 3 areas that you can use to improve your conversions. Hopefully that is useful to you. If you have any questions at all, let me know down below in the comments. I'll be happy to get back to you and answer any of those questions.
Wow, Ben, that was some amazing information. Thank you so much. I hope you guys took some notes. I hope you guys got some nuggets from that, because that was golden. All right, so up next, we have the CEO of Elite CEOs, Tanner Chidester, who will be talking to you guys about how to make $10,000 per month in 2023. Benson, take it away.
All right, what's going on, Elite CEOs? Wanted to come out you guys with some tips on how you guys can get started on the smartest path into 2023 with your business and being able to scale to 10K months. Right now, obviously, if you want to scale further, that's great as well. But this is really ultimately going to be the baseline or foundation that you're going to want to start with. So with that being said, I want to go in this path to 10K in 2023. And these things, guys, if you follow these processes, this be able to kickstart you guys and give you guys the actual injection into your business that you're actually going to need to be successful. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you start, and what I would always encourage you, and the Elite CEOs team will always encourage you guys to do, is pick something high ticket. Okay, if you don't do anything else on here, on what we recommend and how we would, encourage you guys to start your business and start getting traction, pick something high ticket. Okay, it's easier to sell. Okay, you don't have to deal with as much garbage, because if people are paying a higher premium, right, they're usually a higher, more sophisticated client, and then you have less issues. Right? Versus somebody who buys a $7 product and complains, about the product not being as pretty as they thought it would be. Right? So pick a high ticket price point. 1,500 is usually going to be the minimum, but depending on your offer, guys, we've seen people sell packages as high as, $50,000, $100,000. Right? But we would recommend, usually 1,500 to start, bare minimum. Now B2C, right? If you're a business to consumer offer, usually you're not going to be able to charge as much, simply for the fact that they're consumers, right? Sometimes with the B2C market, there's not direct cash ROI on the actual, offer. So therefore it's sometimes a little harder, because no matter what, that person's going to have the same amount of cash flow regardless. Now B2B offer, you can usually charge more because there's a direct ROI correlation with the amount of money they make, right? And I just want to make sure everybody understands when I'm using some of this jargon, right? ROI stands for return on investment. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can follow along. So take this, for example. Let's say you pick a price point at $2,000, right? And your goal is 10K, right? For a month. Well, 2,000 times 5, that's 10, right? Versus, let's say you were selling $100. How many people do you need to sell in order to hit 10K, right? You have to sell 100 people. So what do you think is easier or harder to do? Is it easier to sell 5 people at 2,000, or is it easier to sell 100 people at 100? Right? So if you guys are thinking it's easier to sell 5 people at $2,000, you're correct, right? It's less people. Okay. And the thing is that you guys are going after the whales, not the minnows. And so you're looking for higher quality people. And so guys, we only care if 3% of people we target or speak to, the message resonates with. That's what we're going for. Okay. Now, once you pick your high ticket price point, okay, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick a field between health, right? Wealth or relationships. Okay. Period. So example, right? Health would be, I help individuals, either lose weight, build muscle, get in better shape, etc. Okay. There's a direct tangible there because they see the scale, they see the mirror. Okay. I'm seeing physical changes. Boom. Perfect. Let's go to wealth. Wealth ultimately comes down to, okay, do I get a financial ROI? Does my bank account get larger? Is there a direct correlation with how much more money I could make? Then yes. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Now let's go to relationships. Relationships is simple, right? Can I help you date more people, right? Or could I help you, be able to, go on more dates or find the girl on your dream through dating more people, right? There's a very specific, tangible ROI there, right? And so one of these three areas is going to be what you're going to want to decide on. And what we'd recommend, guys, at Elite CEOs is we'd recommend that you pick one of these aspects based off of your actual skills and knowledge you currently have. So if you're somebody in a 9-to-5 looking to transition online, think of the skills you have from your 9-to-5 or some of the passions and hobbies you do that you have knowledge that fit into one of these categories and rock with it. Okay. Another good thing to look at is what is the specific problem you solve? Okay. Because if you can solve a specific problem that others can't or don't know how to, or you position yourself in a way that's unique and different from the rest of the market, then that's going to make your offer much more attractive. Okay. Now, something I put in here as well that can be a really, really great thing for you guys to be able to figure out what problems you actually solve with your offer is a exercise I like to call Crazy Eights. So with Crazy Eights, what you can do once you figure out your price point and your offer is figure out, and you can start with 8 things or do more, but you need to write out 8 different ways on how you guys could actually solve somebody's problem, right? So to give you guys an example, okay, let's say we're just doing something, with, the wealth sector. Okay. So, let's say our offer is general business coaching. Let's say it's like Elite CEOs. Okay. So first off and foremost, okay, we help people, acquire more clientele. Boom. That solves a problem, right? People struggle getting clientele. 2, we help people solidify their offer. Boom. That's usually an issue that most people have is they don't have a solidified offer, don't know how to position it to sound attractive when first starting out, right? So you guys kind of get the gist. You list out 8 different ways or more on how you could solve somebody's problem. Okay. So I hope everybody's following so far. Okay. I'm going to continue. Now, the second component is how do you get traffic and how do you speak to people? Okay. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. Some of you guys are probably asking the question. This is the question that probably gets asked the most by a lot of you guys, but where do you actually find people? Okay. Question that gets asked all the time. So we are always big components, Elite CEOs, of the simple fact of starting, right, with the warmest leads possible first. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for example, you have Facebook friends, you have Instagram friends, you have contacts in your phone, and let's even say you have a small little email list. Okay. Even if you don't have an email list, this is still applicable. What makes more sense? Does it make more sense to go out and start having connections and conversations with people who actually already know a little bit of who you are and actually have a relationship with you in some way, shape, or form or fashion? Or does it make more sense to go out and start speaking to absolute complete strangers who have no idea who you are straight off the get-go? Right? The answer seems quite simple. Okay. And if some of you guys are thinking, oh, well, I really don't want to do that. Like, I want to keep, my social media, and personal things personal and keep business separate. Guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you are thinking that, I would urge you to strongly reconsider, because if you can't make a simple decision to go out and help the people who are closest to you or have the, most warm or most trusting relationship with you to start, think about, like, what are you going to do when you actually have to make hard decisions in the business, right? That's something that's like, you shouldn't even be thinking about. So I just urge you to strongly reconsider, because that is going to be the best place to start. And if your goal, guys, right, many people get into coaching or start a business for the simple fact, 1, like, you obviously want to have financial freedom for yourself, but 2, it's also you want to try to help more people avoid the issues that you had while going through a certain process or certain journey, right? And so I would like to think that the majority of people, right, want to do good. Okay. And so that's one of the reasons why you started your business. So help the people closest to you first. Now, once you go through there, where are the other avenues you can go down, right? Well, you have Facebook groups. You can join Facebook groups where your ideal target market might be hanging out at. And the thing is, guys, it doesn't have to be directly correlated to your offer. right? So let's use fitness, for example. Okay. If you're selling, health and wellness coaching, or you're selling fitness services, you don't just have to go to workout groups, right? What are things that are pertained to fitness that are still relevant, right? What are activities that are related to wellness? There's hiking. What about food? What about travel, right? What are things that people who are into active lifestyles like to do for fun, right? What about surfing, right? ATV, right? Kayaking. Like, there's tons of different avenues you can go down. And sometimes you just need to think a little bit to be able to recognize, okay, how do these things correlate directly with what I offer? Okay. So just an example there. So there's Facebook groups. Then you have Instagram. Now, a lot of the times, guys, we'll get questions in our free group. And a lot of you guys are like, what hashtag should I search? You can definitely search hashtags. That's totally cool. Okay. Hashtags, that are related to your offer, right? So if you're doing business, right? Hashtag business, hashtag entrepreneur, right? Things of that nature. Wellness, right? Hashtag, health, hashtag wellness, stuff like that. You can definitely do that. Okay. Also, what you can do is you can go to pages. So what you guys should be thinking of is, where is your ideal client going to be hanging out on Instagram, right? Page one, let's just say it's a page where everybody is, posting, pictures of shirtless, guys and girls, right? Or page two is more of an informational type page that gives specific actual instructions on how you can actually do, a squat properly, or how you can actually make a healthy, low calorie, protein ice cream, right? Where do you think a higher quality person is going to be hanging out at? The shirtless photos, right? Or people with no clothes on, right? Or are they going to be at more informational instruction type places? Okay, food for thought. All right. Now, the other thing that you can do that is underutilized, in my opinion. So guys, like, this is probably the biggest gold nugget I'm going to drop in this. So really pay attention. A lot of you guys think so hard that you almost you overlook the simplest places that you can start as far as just branching out from your social media connections. But think about where you guys live. Okay. Wherever you live, I want you to stop and think within a 15 to 20 mile radius. Okay. The general businesses that your ideal client might be following on social media, right? Or your ideal client may be working at, right? Especially if you're like a biz op offer, right? And for those of you, if you're watching, if you don't know what a biz op offer is, it's basically like a business opportunity, right? And so those who are in that field, basically what that means is that you can teach somebody how to learn certain business type skills to be able to incorporate a different type of component or a different type of profession into their life to make more cash flow, right? Or to be able to better their financial situation. That's what a business op offer is. So where are they hanging out at? What are some of the actual local businesses that they would be following on social media, or where do they work? And then what you guys can do is you can go and look up any of those local businesses where your ideal clients might be hanging out at in a 15 to 20 mile radius. And what's great about this, guys, is number one, they're local. Okay. So it's easier to make connections because you know what's kind of going on in the area as far as, activities, the weather, certain types of, college, football teams. Where I live, there's 2 major universities close by. And so it's always a easy conversation starter, right? So those are really easy places to look, but start with your warmest leads first, then branch out to your colder avenues. And I would highly suggest focusing on a 15 to 20 mile radius first before you start branching out to all the hashtags, Facebook groups, etc. Okay. So you see these numbers here. This is always a great way to be able to actually reverse the process. Okay. So let's say you work 5 days a week when you're starting your business. Okay. And let's say you do 100, workouts, right? Or reach out. Sorry. Excuse me. So it's 500 reach outs in a week. Okay. Let's say 200 respond. Okay. So about 40%, right? 30 to 40%. 75 you have a combo with. Okay. 25 decide to book a 10-minute call, right? This call, guys, usually when doing organic is usually best to do to build a little bit more rapport, right? So it's usually good to do a quick 10-minute call organically just to build some rapport, get people to trust you and to see if you could actually even help them. Okay. From there, you can book people in on a 60-minute discovery call where you can dive in deeper to their goals and actually understand what it is they're trying to do on a much deeper level, and then offer your solution or your services as a way to be able to help them reach their goals. Okay, so from here, you'll probably get 6 to 8 that show up, and then you close 2 to 3. So if you do the math, right, let's say you're charging at a $2,000 price point and you close 2 to 3 deals per week. Well, guys, like, you pretty much met your quota in 2 weeks, right? Now, this is obviously an example, guys. I'm not saying this will happen 100%, but you guys get the idea. And I just want to preface, guys, that when starting a business, right, there's really only one way to do this. Like, you don't really have another choice when you have no to little funds. Like, there's no other choice you have other than going out and reaching out to social media. And sometimes it's a little perplexing to me that people want to start a business, right? And then when they're told, hey, this is what you need to do, they're just like, oh yeah, it's too hard. Guys, this is probably one of the easiest things you can do. I did door-to-door sales in the summer heat in Alabama for about 6 months. Go do that. Go try that and see how much more difficult that is compared to sitting on the couch. And the great thing about working from home, maybe you want to wear pants, maybe you don't want to. You can literally be on the couch hanging out in your boxers, right? Messaging people. Like, you're in AC. It's a wonderful life. I promise you guys, like, if you just commit to doing this, you can make some great things happen, but you really don't have a choice. And the sooner you kind of recognize that sometimes you're going to have to do things in business that are hard and you don't want to do, and understand that that's going to help you reach the next level and push your potential, the better you're going to be for it long term. Okay. So I hope that all makes sense to you guys. Just some tips. Okay. Once again, reverse engineer whatever your goal is, whether it's 10K a month, 20K, whatever, reverse engineer what you need to do in order to hit that. Okay. So if your goal is 10,000 in a month, once again, okay, if I want to make 10K, how many people do I need to get on a sales call? Let's just say you're closing at a 20% close rate. Okay. Selling at a 2K price point, right? You gotta get at least 20 people, right? You got to get around 20 people on the phone to close around that, a little bit more, right? Because you need 5. So okay, in order to make 10K, I have to get 20 people on the phone. I have to make 5 closes. How many people do I need to get to actually, those calls, right? How many 10-minute calls do I need that convert to 60-minute calls? Perfect. How many people do I need to reach out to in order to actually have a conversation with? And it allows you guys to reverse engineer the process. And so whenever I set goals or whenever I'm trying to achieve a certain outcome, reverse engineering from the actual end goal in mind and going backwards always makes more sense to me, because I'm able to see the actual data and actually say, okay, here's what I'll need to do, right? And then based off those numbers, you can always go back and readjust, but breaking it down like that always makes so much sense. Okay. So just to recap, guys, pretty much just to recap, first off and foremost, pick a high ticket offer. Okay. Choose something that's in the health, wealth, or relationships category. With getting traffic, start actually reaching out with the methods we talked about. Okay. And then reverse engineer your guys' actual end goal, right? From your end goal, I should say, to the beginning. What are all the steps that you need to do in order to get there? Okay. So that's really the big thing that I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope this gives you guys clarity and some insight on how you guys can go into 2023 with some ideas and some ways to be able to have a firm foundation to get your business starting up off the ground. As always, if you guys need any more help, we're always here to help you guys. You can check out our website, elitecos.com, or you can just shoot us over a message. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you guys later. Okay?
Wow, Vincent, that was so good. I hope you guys took notes on that as well. We are halfway through 2023. I hope by the end of this year, you are reaching that 10K goal for yourself. Thank you again, Vincent. And finally, to close out our very first podcast is the founder of the $70 million company Elite CEOs, Tanner Chidester. He will be covering the entrepreneurial burnout. Is it real? Does it exist? How do you deal with it? And even more. Tanner, close this out for us.
Today's live, I wanted to do specifically about, just the mindset and the burnout that sometimes can happen with entrepreneurship, because it's not one of those things where you can just put on pause, right? It's not like your dog that you can just put outside and go and get in a few hours. It's something that consistently has to go. And so this was actually my last month was my 5th year being in business last month. So what is it? 2000. So I really started my business in about 2017, and this was really my 5th year being in business. And so over the course of those years, it's been a blessing because I've seen what happens with ads in different markets and different seasons and different holidays, team members coming in and going out, and overall just seeing the company as a whole operate. And I could tell you that there's definitely times where it can get a little bit overwhelming, especially when you're trying to grow or you're having a hiring decision to make. And so there's kind of like 3 things that I try to do whenever I get in a position where I don't feel like I can handle it anymore and I just kind of need to get away from things. So the first, I had these written down, was the first one that I usually do is try to step away from my phone. So the human body and brain is like super powerful. And I find a lot of times that we're constantly checking our phones, but we really don't need to, or we constantly have it, notify us, so we're constantly picking it back up. And so something that I try to do when I work is either have it on do not disturb or face down. And then if it's really bad where, I feel a little overwhelmed for the day, I'll leave my phone at home and I'll go somewhere where I can't be contacted. So that's number one. Over this weekend, I actually did that. I went to a Miami Dolphins football game. I also went out to a little club spot up in Hollywood where we just had a fun time, and I wasn't able to be contacted, and it really helped me kind of just decompress from the business, because I'm a very, type A person. I go. And so sometimes it's hard for me to step away and, not be available for my team. But sometimes you need to do that. And so that's number one. Number 2 is try to get outside. I don't think staying inside all day is a good thing. A lot of times now with how the internet works and businesses, you can make a lot of money from home. You really never have to have an actual office. And so that's something that I try to do on a daily basis. I don't always do it, but go out and just do a, 15, 30 minute walk. Just walk around your neighborhood, get some sunlight, don't have your phone. And it just kind of helps reset you for the day, gives you a little bit of a break. And you can do that right after lunch or before you go to the gym or after you go to the gym. Try doing that once a day. And then the third thing is obviously just spend time with people you enjoy. I found more and more that, having high level conversations is what excites me, and talking to people that are doing other things and big things is what kind of motivates me. And so making sure that you spend time, or you set times where you can actually do that, because a lot of times, at least for me, speaking for myself, as a CEO of the company, I'm constantly managing or I'm talking to clients, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but it feels right. Like it kind of feels like you're up here and you're kind of talking down almost, or looking down, where you're managing or it's a client. And so sometimes you need to get in groups where it's almost you're looking up, because they are ahead of you in business or financially or whatever. And it just gives you a little bit of a different perspective, and it gives you a little bit more motivation, because they're pulling you up versus you're kind of talking down, so to speak. And I don't mean talking down in a negative context. I just mean these people below you are either on your team and you're trying to direct them, or they're trying to get to your level, versus when you have these high level conversations with other individuals, they're kind of pulling you up because they're ahead of you. And I think that's very normal as a human, and why you don't keep the same friends over the entire duration of your life, because as people change and your goals change, who you hang out with needs to change, because it's going to be different. So those are kind of 3 quick things. I don't want to go super long today, but just remember, if you have a business and it makes money, and your take home is anything around, $400,000 a year, you're in the top 1% in the entire world. Most people, I think the average US income is $50,000 a year. Other places in the world, it's worse. And so for context, just keep in mind that a lot of the problems we do have, we're very blessed to have. And I lose sight of that at times as well. But those are 3 things I try to do that help, that make the entrepreneurial journey a little easier. And then as a, tidbit or a bonus tip, for those of you who follow me on Facebook who see my posts that I'm having with some of these billionaires and mega millionaires, is that the vehicle does matter. And so if you're in a vehicle right now where you constantly feel like it's really hard to keep grinding or it's really hard to get results, part of that could also be the vehicle, right? And so by changing vehicles, by selling something different, right? Most people listening to this, that's not going to apply to, but if you could change your vehicle for something that's easier and more efficient, that can also de-stress you because it's a lot easier to grow versus, sometimes in internet marketing, I feel like when we're selling things, we have to convince people to do things that are best for them, right? Like you have to convince someone to spend $10,000 on themselves when it's literally one of the best investments they can make versus in other industries, you can sell candy or drugs or alcohol or, whatever, and people will buy it all the time, but it's not really a need, right? It doesn't really enhance their life. It's just a want. And so those conversations I have had, if you guys do follow me on my personal Facebook, look at those because it's brought me a lot of insight into the type of companies and things people have sold that have helped them make a lot of money. So anyways, that's all I got for today, guys. Hope that was helpful. Appreciate you as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one next week. Bye.
Thank you so much, Tanner. Guys, that was straight fire. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys took some notes on that. Tanner is definitely someone that you would want to learn from. Just how he was able to grow this business. There are so many things you'll be able to implement in yours as well. But guys, that will conclude our first episode of the Elite CEO Show. If there's anyone that you would like on the show, please let us know. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything you want us to cover in the next episode, please also let us know. And if you're ready for Elite CEOs to take you and your business to elite levels, go ahead and follow us on Instagram at elite.ceos. And if you want more free trainings just like this, we host them every Monday through Friday in our Elite Facebook group. Thank you guys for joining us today. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.